Boom! What's going on, y'all? Hey, happy Monday. Trauma. You've experienced trauma in your life, right? Here's the wisdom of trauma. You learn the deepest lessons through trauma. Why is this significant? Everything you do in your life is based on the algorithm by which you make decisions. You make these decisions based on what you believe, based on your paradigm. You cannot outperform your intelligence. You cannot outperform your beliefs. You cannot outperform the algorithm by which you make decisions. What people fail to realize is that traumatic experiences in their past really influence the way, that algorithm by which they make decisions. This is where maladaptive behavior comes from, negatively adapted behavior, because many of us make decisions about the way life is based on past trauma that comes from an entirely different context. So you carry laws and rules of survival into a new environment that were very relevant and pertinent for your survival in an old environment when you were being abused as a child, or when you were being verbally abused by a boss at an old job, or something that an old spouse or a lover did to you, things like this. You carry those rules and laws and you try to apply them in other places in your life where they're not relevant. And this is maladaptive behavior. Behavior that you adapted when it was appropriate, that you're trying to now adapt to a new environment, and it's maladaptive, negatively adapted, warped and distorted you're trying to make warped and distorted tools that are no longer relevant work in new environments, and it's ultra problematic, right? But the really interesting thing to me is, and so you have to find a way to recondition yourself, find new beliefs and new values, upgrade your paradigm relative to where you are now if you want to be efficient and if you want to be effective in your new environment. The thing that's really interesting to me about it is trauma teaches us the deepest lessons we have. Lessons you learn in trauma are the hardest to write new programming over the top of, are the hardest to erase, are the hardest to forget, are the hardest to reprogram. And therefore, why don't we use this principle to our advantage more often? You never, and will probably not ever, touch the hot stove again. Because why? That was a traumatic experience, and that experiential information is embedded extremely deeply in your being, in your consciousness, in your subconscious mind, which is, as I always say, and as is scientifically accurate, a 1,000,000 times more powerful information processor than your focal conscious, cerebral cortex, prefrontal cortex, the front brain, you know what I'm saying? Where you do all your sophisticated decision making, where you're like, I want to be successful. And then your rear brain, your subconscious mind is like, that picking up the phone and making sales calls and posting stuff on social media that makes you vulnerable really seems like it's going to give you pain. So let's just not. Let's just get, let's eat pizza. Pizza equals pleasure, I'm sure. I know this. Let's have Byron go eat some pizza. Forget this writing this blog that is going to be trolled later on today. Because that's kind of uncomfortable. Pizza, play with the baby, ice cream maybe a little later, gym, he likes the gym, so this is the battle we all fight. But as I look deeper into the habits that have helped me acquire things in my life that I love and appreciate and make me feel good about myself, I unearth certain principles, and I want to share those with you so it can possibly bless your life as well. Absorb what's useful, disregard what's useless, and add what is essentially your own happy Monday. So I sit here and I look at myself and I say, why do I believe so strongly in my capabilities? Why do I have some self-esteem where I see people don't? And I realize that it's because I'm using trauma. It's very hard to take a person like me off of my center because I was traumatized into knowing who I am. Traumatized into knowing who I am. My parents separated when I was young, and I spent a lot of time figuring things out for myself, by myself, with no help. Oh, I'm cold tonight. Well, guess what, little homie? You're just gonna be cold tonight unless you figure out another way to fix that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, everyone, you know, like, and I grew up around a lot of kids that had a lot of things. So like everybody had everything thing they needed, and I just had to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Or somehow get them to share with me, right? So this was the game growing up. And then I end up in the Marine Corps where you're like this like lost kind of like Uncle Sam's Misguided wild children turned 19 and 20 in combat with grown men trying to kill me and things like that. Like literally praying to God all night on multiple occasions for help. And all that happened was I survived, which is all the help you need, right? But at the time I learned, you know, who I was, what I'm capable of, you know, with my God at my back. And that's something no one can take away from you because they weren't there when you went and freaking got it. You know what I'm saying? So you sit here and then you look at life. It's like David when he faces Goliath, he's like, I've killed the lion, I've killed the bear, by the grace of God, I'm gonna kill this Philistine. You start to have this internal equity concerning your identity as you bravely face these traumas. The thing about trauma is, though, everything that's ever happened to you, you get the honor of defining. You give meaning to it. So something that previously you believed was very disabling and horrible and terrible and traumatic, you can even now look back at that thing, and it's like a mental alchemy that you can change the meaning. You can change what it means for you in your life. That person that abused you had their own issues they were dealing with. You didn't die. You are here. You are stronger. You can now help people understand how to move through those things. The things in your life that have been horrible have not destroyed you. Therefore, you're stronger. And now you have, you know, more to call upon when life attacks you. It's like, look, I went through that crap and I'm here. You know what? We're going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? So you have these tools, but it's changing the meaning and the definition of the trauma that either helps you unlock the potential in the pain or keeps you disempowered by the process, the painful process of development, of personal evolution, of transcendence. The meaning is really where the money is. Now, I sit here and I assess myself further and I'm like, I go to the gym and what do? I tear my muscles up. Don't worry, I'm landing this plane in a second. I'm tearing my muscles up. I'm causing micro trauma to my body, my physical body, to unlock the principles that God placed inside that soil of my body. Boom, I'm unlocking these principles by going into these small deaths. I'm destroying my cells. I'm destroying myself. This micro trauma that's helping me understand the miraculous power that's inside my body, that it will heal stronger. This same principle is so congruent with reality when you really look at the way things work. I'm giving myself these micro traumas on a cellular level that then help my body unlock this principle of progress, and this principle of progress helps me to regrow calloused over and more strong and bigger, and I die 1,000 deaths every year to become better and stronger and to live at a higher level of life and to serve those who love me and pay me on a higher level on a consistent basis by going into the trauma, learning the lessons from the trauma. What do I learn? I learn that I can. I learn that I might not be good enough, but I can become good enough through hard work. I learn that, you know, like, I'm capable. You know, I carry strength in my body as a result of these habits. And what I learned from the micro traumas, it permeates everything else you do in your life. And what you learn from running away from the micro traumas, from running away from the painful things in your life, from giving disempowering definitions to horrible things that happen to us. Yes, horrible things happen. It rains on the just and the unjust, but you've got to give it a definition that will empower you. And that is nothing more than the one thing you can take that you actually have ultimate control over, that Viktor Frankl talks about, that carried him through the internment camps and made him one of the, 2 to 4% survivors of the internment camps, is your decision to give a positive meaning to the events in your life. If a man who went through Auschwitz and the furnaces of the Germans incinerating millions of Israelis, you know what I mean, the Holocaust, if a man who went through all that lost almost all his body weight and was the best thing in his day was if the guards dipped the ladle into the soup deep enough to get him one of the peas because that had extra energy in it. If a man who went through that stuff saw countless friends die, stack their bodies, hidden their bodies, and all these things, can go through that stuff and say, hey, you know what? They could never take my decision away to find meaning in life that brought me power. Ladies and gentlemen, you better look deep within and you better find that trash, because that's what this life is truly all about. Go into the trauma. Find the wisdom in the trauma. The wisdom in the trauma is if you can find the purpose in the pain, you can unlock the potential in the process. I'll say it a couple more. If you can find the purpose within the pain, you can unlock the potential in the process. If you can find the purpose in the pain, you can unlock the potential in the process. Happy Monday, y'all. I just want to put that up in the grape sodas real quick, just for y'all to go on ahead and start the week off with. Visit me at ByronRogers.com, Rogers with a D, and I look forward to seeing y'all on the next video. Out. Boom.